And welcome to Two Gray Goatees and a Whistle. I'm your host, Coach Huddy, along with Coach Gonzo. He's back with us, and today's guest. Hello, BJ. How you doing, man?
Doing good. How are you guys?
Doing great. Hey, so I love the fact that we get to talk to you today. So through my shows, I've had opportunity to talk to players, my former players of mine, coaches, people who have businesses and stuff like that start sports training and stuff like that. But I haven't got to talk to anybody who is on the sports media side of things. So this episode is kind of dedicated to sports media. And so we're going to look at somebody who works for a professional team and kind of get his insight of what goes on, kind of get his backstory too, and kind of see what he's got going on in his life, kind of how he got into the business. So BJ, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. It's been a good day so far and excited to be on.
Okay, so let's talk about a little bit about yourself. What is it that right now currently you do as job-wise for Green Bay?
So I do their Cold Front podcasts, or Cold Front podcast. I'm their co-host. Joey Bonadonna, he does the play-by-play and color and sometimes side reporter for the actual team. But I'm his co-host on a short, weekly, half an hour long sports podcast about the Blizzard mostly, but also the IFL as a whole.
Nice. So let's take it all the way back. I mean, I don't know your age or anything, but let's talk about some of your earliest sports memories. What were they? Kind of what interest did you have in sports growing up and stuff like that? What sports were you playing as a kid?
So I started off in flag football. I don't remember why. It was just something I was always big into football. I think most of it was Packers won a Super Bowl right around the time that, I started growing up. That was, 2010, 2011. So I was been 5 or 6 when they won it. So watching that kind of got me started on football. Played flag football in elementary school, did Pop Warner just before middle school. I kind of fell out of it after that. I never really got into the tackling portions. If you've seen me walk around, I'm 6'3", 140. Like, I'm not built big enough to play football. Basketball, maybe. I did basketball in middle school, but I do not have a football build. I can't put weight on to save my life. So I just kind of fell out of it. So I get that a lot, yeah. But it was something I always wanted to do, but I just never stuck with it.
So you talked about playing flag football and you enjoy flag football or played football, and at least you enjoy it. So
yes.
Is it following football that you're more interested in than playing the sports? Or do you still kind of like pick up games and stuff like that just for fun?
I wish I could find like pickup games or anything nearby. I haven't really looked at it, but there's not a whole lot near me in terms of that. I mean, your best bet would be playing for a team like the Blizzard or like I think the Aviators play down in like lacrosse, and that's tier 4 indoor football. But no, so I just kind of got into following the sport because my dad took me to my first Blizzard game in 2011, so I was 5 at that point, 6 at that point, and we became season ticket holders the year after, and I just started following that. And after COVID, I really deep dive into it. That was kind of like my passion coming out of COVID, doing stats as much as I could. And yeah, it just kind of grew from there as, the last couple of years have gone through.
Okay.
Sorry,
so
I have a coming off a cold.
But you're fine. Yeah, don't worry about that.
Go ahead.
So what I was, we're talking about so you kind of talked about your dad got season tickets, got to see him. Got to see the Blizzards. What was there any coaches, teachers, other family members, athletes that kind of inspired you, especially to get down the path you're going now, where you're kind of going towards the sports media type of path, working behind the scenes in like that sense of the business of sports?
I wouldn't say it was any coaches or teachers or anything. Like I said, I didn't really get into the actual playing, so no coaches really stuck with me. Heck, I can barely remember like my team names that I was on back then. But the biggest one for me is a guy named Ralph Judkins. He at the time when I started my original podcast back in 2023, he was doing the broadcasting for the San Antonio Gunslingers, who were just moving into the IFL that following season. And after, I think it was either my first or second episode, he reached out to me and was just super encouraging, had a lot of great words. And part of it was he wanted to get more accustomed to the IFL as they were switching leagues from the NAL. But, he just saw me kind of as, a young mind he could, kind of work through and bring me in and help him do stuff for them. I ended up interning for the San Antonio Gunslingers for a couple years, just remotely doing stats and broadcast work. But that was probably my biggest thing in terms of what I've been doing since COVID, because there hasn't been a whole lot else. It's just kind of something me and one of my buddies started randomly and kind of just grew from there without any real influence from anyone else.
Hey, and sometimes that happens. Self-motivation, you find out, what you want to do, and, you end up following that path. So let's talk about the idea of, let's talk about some of the teams that you liked growing up. You grew up I'm assuming you grew up in the Green Bay area. Is it safe to say that the Packers are your team, or did you decide to be a closet Cowboys fan or something?
No, come on. No, I don't wish that on anyone, but no, I grew up a Packers fan. Yeah. I grew up a Packers fan. It was kind of like my whole family was Packers. Like I said before, it kind of helped that they won a Super Bowl right around that time, so they didn't, stink. But other than that, I didn't really follow any other sports. It was Packers and Blizzard. I don't follow the Bucks that much. I don't follow the Brewers that much. Not that I don't like them. I have a Bucks jersey. I have a Brewers jersey for whenever I go to games, but I'm not like super diehard or anything like that. I don't follow the team or how they're doing. It'd be like one of my buddies texts in our group chat, like, "Oh, the Bucks are on a roll," and it's like, "Great, cool. I can mention that next time we're hanging out." That's about it. But yeah, it was always football. It was Packers and Blizzard, and it worked out. They were one right after another, and football almost all the time.
Cool. So you talked about the Super Bowl being maybe your earliest memory. What are some favorite sports moments as a child in your childhood that you will never forget? I mean, obviously Packers win a Super Bowl. I can imagine that's up there, but is there any other sports moments that kind of come to mind that were like, man, this is awesome. This is really like imprinted on you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Packers Super Bowl was a big one. I have a negative one. I believe it was the year after. The Packers made the NFC Championship, and I believe they lost to the Giants the following year. And I was super bummed about that. Yep. And so I turned on the AFC Championship game. I don't know why I was like kind of rooting for the Ravens. I didn't really like the Patriots or Tom Brady or anyone like that. And as soon as I turned it on, the Patriots kicked a game-winning field goal and the Ravens lost. I'm just like, great. The two teams I was rooting for are just now completely out. And that was such like, I don't know why I remember that so much, but that was just in my brain as like the worst, not worst, but like one of the moments that stuck with me for so long. I don't know why, but when you mentioned that question, I was just like, oh, that was the first thing that came to my mind. It's not positive.
That's all right.
But that was just one that stuck out. Positive wise, younger, I don't really have a lot. Not like saying these teams are bad or anything like that. I just remember, you remember the losses more than you remember wins, right? And then after the Super Bowl, like anything else is not good enough.
Not at all.
And I'm on the other end of that because I'm probably on the team because my favorite team is we have a history in playoffs, good and bad for both of us. So I'm a Seahawks fan. I grew up a Seattle fan. So, you know, so yeah. So, I mean, we could talk about Matt Hasselbeck saying that we're going to go down and score or we're going to, in the overtime game, we could talk about the Hail Mary. We could talk about the onside kick.
So were you ever one of those kids that they rode your bicycle during training camp?
Oh, to training camp? No, I don't think I ever did that. I remember seeing it a lot, but I don't think I ever did.
That's so cool.
I feel like I would remember
so
that.
So explain that a little bit. What's the bicycle thing?
So the players, I guess you really have to apply for it as a parent. You apply for it for your child, and then the players will ride the bike to the field, Ray Nitschke's field, where they practice at, and the kid usually carries a helmet and all that on the way there, and just total PR, you know. I mean,
yep,
it's great.
Yeah, they've been doing that for forever.
Ever.
Yeah, they ride from Lambeau to Ray Nitschke. It's
Reggie White.
It's like a block, but yep.
Oh, it's a whole block.
Yeah.
I love Titletown.
That was before
Yeah.
my time, but yes, yeah. I remember I've seen videos and clips of that. I know that's one of the more popular photos from that or moments, right?
Mhm.
I don't think I ever did that. I didn't go to a whole lot of Packers events as a kid. Best we did was the family fun night. And even that I only went to, I think, 1 or 2 times. I didn't go to my first Packer game until I think it was after COVID, which is kind of weird to think about, but it was just never something.
Mhm.
Tickets are super expensive, and for a family of 3, you're looking at almost $1,000 if you want to go and be able to actually see
Easily,
anything. So
We go with 6 people all the time, so
yeah, I can't imagine. Yeah, my last game that I went up to Seattle and watched them play was like it was a year or 2 after they won.
Mhm.
They went to their first Super Bowl. Sorry, not won it, but went to their first Super Bowl. I mean, I went to one of their playoff games the first year they went Super Bowl, and then I went like one other time after that. And after that, it's just the cost is it's so discouraging. You have to spend hundreds of dollars to
I
sit up
know,
on
but
that,
it's worth it.
and it's fun. And I had a lot of fun doing it, and I would like to go again. I'd like to go watch them play Chicago just because we know somebody with Chicago, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. So,
yeah,
anyways, yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's one thing that got me into Blizzard so much was, we can do season tickets for me and my dad when we started, right? The cost for me and my dad's season tickets were as much as like one Packer ticket for one game. So it's
And they're
like, why
fun. They're
do
fun games.
yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, we've had so much fun over the years. I've been to, I think my list is 135 indoor football games over my life.
So
Most of those
you've
are
been to a few.
Blizzard.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
just a couple.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my first experience. So the old AFL is when I really watched indoor football for the first time. That was, I remember like, was it Danny White was the head coach for the Rattlers, it was the old school. It was like passing only. I mean, so when I first got
Mhm.
introduced to the IFL, it was like I was telling my wife when we're getting ready to watch Andrew's first game, I'm like, just wait, this is all passing. And I watched it and I'm like, wow, they actually have running. There's a running game in this, and it's just built differently. And so I was like, this is kind of cool because you're working on run blocking, and as somebody, especially if you're using the IFL as a stepping stone for some of these guys to go play 11 man, especially, whether it's NFL, IFL, UFL, or excuse me, CFL or wherever that's at. There's so much, especially for the linemen, they got to understand it's not just pass blocking, it's the run blocking. And the IFL kind of gives that opportunity for that to happen. So I was like, wow, this is kind of neat. I liked it. And for me, I mean, so when I watched the AFL, I did get to see the AFL championship game in Vegas one year. It was the Colorado Crush, and I remember Elway was part ownership. Him and I think is it Bowman or whoever owned the Broncos. They had they had ownership of the Crush, and I saw them, and I think they were playing Georgia that year. And remember
Yep,
Brian
Georgia Force,
Adams
yep.
being the halftime show, and so yeah, and so it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I took my brother-in-law. We just happened to be down there when it was going on. I think it was over spring break or something, but yeah, and so it was a lot of fun. But the IFL is just a little bit different, and I like it because the running game is a part of it, and I like that aspect
Yes.
of the game where it's not just drop back. We're just going to pass. And you got to basically your fullback is just an extra lineman, or this one you actually have guys built like running backs. So it's a little bit different.
Yes. Yeah. Green Bay's had some luck with that. Keenami Clark was our running back last year for the championship.
Yep.
I believe he had 4 touchdowns in the championship game.
Yep.
He was fantastic. But we've had a lot of really good running backs over the last couple of years. Our guy right now, Kyrie Robinson, has been going off. He came in kind of mid-season, and he's having a spectacular year. I think he's 8th in average points per game right now or something like that. And he's only played like 6 games and explosive so far.
He's doing great. And yeah, he was a Seahawk guy too. He was with the Seahawks for a short time. Like, I don't know if he made it past preseason, but he was with them. Going back to this a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about your experience. You talked about you didn't really play a whole lot in school, but what were some of the lessons that you have learned through what you got now? What are things that you're picking up in your job, through, obviously you're behind the scenes, so you see things that other people don't see. So kind of let's talk about some of the things you talked about doing stats for San Antonio and stuff like that. So explain a little bit, what are some of the things that go on behind the scenes of your job, and kind of what's a typical day like for you?
So honestly, I don't even really do much in terms of game day. It's really show up, go as a fan is kind of my mentality. The only thing I really do on game day is I'll do some post game interviews after the game. We have a little reception party after. Other than that, behind the scenes, I don't really do a whole lot. I saw that question on your sheet, and I was thinking about it. I'm like, right now at least, I don't do anything for the team. I don't do anything of actual use other than the podcast. I show up on Mondays. I record for half an hour. I will sometimes do a post game interview. That's about it. It's something I want to work on. I've interned for other teams. Well, I've interned for the San Antonio Gunslingers, in which I really did preparation was kind of the most part. I did preparing Ralph Judkins, his stats. I was his stat guy because if you've looked at the IFL website, it's not great for stats.
No, it's not,
So
and that's that. And I don't think you obviously don't have any control of that, but that is probably the
I
one
tried.
thing I think with the IFL, I think they need to work on. It's not just that, but it's like the transactions, especially when you're
Yes,
in a
transactions.
position where, especially when you're watching the games, they're showing the over and under, all this stuff. So that's obviously going towards betting, which that's part of the sports business now. And then if you don't have an updated transaction list to see, so and so got called up somewhere or they got cut or whatever it was, it's like you're betting on this team.
Mhm.
They show up and then they're not there now. So I've always kind of like,
Yeah,
I wish I would do a little bit better on that.
I tried. So I interned for the IFL for 2 months. I even get why I am no longer interning, but that was the first thing they did is so when they first posted out the listing, it was for graphics or something like that. And I applied just to see if I could get any internship with the league, something to do. And when I interviewed with her name is Kaylee, she works in the league, she does a lot of their graphics and stuff like that. She understood that, I was already tracking stats from previous seasons. I was already doing, kind of doing my own thing. So she brought me in just to do that sort of thing, to pull stats for the league whenever they needed it. And stuff like that. Come to find out that they were switching to a different stat provider and had lost 4 years of stats, just completely gone. Luckily, I backed it up because the first thing they did when they sent it all to me was I downloaded all of it because I'm like, I don't trust the league to have all this stuff. And I was right. So it's that I don't want to say anything too negative to hurt my own chances of hopefully doing something in the future.
No.
But
I mean, be professional if you have to. I mean, but
yes.
it's
Yes,
I get what you're saying.
will,
There's frustration, obviously.
yeah, there's stuff the league needs to work on. I'm hoping now that they've kind of gotten a little bit better viewership with Yahoo and stuff like that. And I could go on an hour rant about this, but I'm hoping that's the next step is let's get transactions fixed. Let's get stats fixed. Let's, have all this stuff ready to go because if the league wants to keep getting bigger and getting bigger, this is something they need to do.
Yeah, because like I said, that's how I look at it. Is like, and I'm not somebody who goes out and bets or anything like that. On my side, I'm like, I just want to watch the game because I enjoy the game. But to me, that's where it kind of lags. Especially early on when they're building their team and stuff like that, and you're trying to see okay who made it this year and stuff like that. Especially we knew somebody, and I didn't have any doubt that Andrew wouldn't been playing, but I was kind of still going okay. You never know. I mean, so what's going on? And then there's other guys that come from other places like that and stuff like that, especially around here. If they end up coming from a college around here, they end up getting a tryout or whatever. And sometimes I'm going to try to check that out and I'm not seeing that. And, and then like one day it seems like they unload all their transactions at once. And then you're going through and you're seeing, holy crap. So obviously that's things that need to get worked on and stuff like that. And I appreciate you sharing your side of that when it comes to that. So when we're looking at, did you get into college and do anything in college that kind of led you to did you get into sports management, communication degree? Did you do anything like that to kind of help build your resume, I guess, to kind of get you in a position where you can start doing this a little bit later on or get more in depth and do it later on, I guess?
No, actually. I was always a computer kid. And so I went to college. I went to a local technical college here for computer IT support. It's something I like doing. I like fixing devices. I built my own PC. I've built a lot of my buddies' PCs. I like doing that sort of internal technical support. And so that's what I did for 2 years. I did nothing in terms of sports. Sports was more like a side thing. It was like, okay, here's my hobby. Here's my hopeful career. And I'm about almost a year out of graduating and have seen no IT jobs, no IT internships, absolutely nothing, because the market is terrible right now. So I'm still working at Subway. I've been there for 6 years. I'm a manager there. It's enough to pay for me to go travel and follow the team as much as I can and go see as much indoor football as I can. But it's not a career. So I've been kind of hoping that this sports thing turns into more of that, more of an actual career, but we'll see.
You know, and then that's fine. Then, I mean, you get to your job. I mean, there's no one path that gets you to where you're going. I mean, for me, I mean, I could talk about, I mean, I got into teaching 20 years after high school through just, started out in sports where I was coaching and I loved coaching and I loved being around teaching kids and stuff like that and doing that type of stuff. So I'm like, education is like a natural thing. So
There he is.
Hey, how's it going, Andrew?
and
How are
so
you?
let you know,
Doing
yeah,
great.
I'm kind of dragging this out a little bit. It's just so we can get Andrew on here. So
There he is.
Andrew, how you doing, man? Uh-oh.
Good. How are you, Coach?
Good, man. How you doing?
Can you see me?
You probably can't see Coach Gonzalez. Coach G's
I
here
can't
too.
see Coach Gonzo. No, I
No,
cannot.
that's fine. The way the camera's thing set up, it's set up, and you'll see him like on the after this. But he's here. Here, let me do this. Maybe I
What
can
up,
do
Coach
this.
Gonzo? Good to see you.
I love you, buddy.
Or hear you,
So-
I guess. We can't see you. Yeah, hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Here,
That's
Let
fine.
me see. Here it is. Oh, I think I lost my camera. So I have to fix
I was
that.
going
real
to say,
quick.
I think it's frozen.
All right, I'll get that
What's up,
fixed real
BJ?
quick.
What you been on today?
What's that, sorry, Andrew? I got to turn
What
you
were
up.
you up to today?
Work and this, and that's about it for me
Nice.
right now.
Yeah, we had practice, then we had bowling, and now.
Bowling?
Yeah, I was going to go to bowling, and then I was like,
Yeah.
well, I have this going on, so I'm not going to be able to make it back in time.
Yeah, no, I had to get food too, so I had to eat. And I took a nap after practice, and that's what I was doing, Coach. Before I called my orders, and all like, "Oh, it's gonna be 30 minutes," and I was like, "Whatever, let's go grab it real quick."
Are you guys still
Just how
staying
it
at the
goes.
college or are you at a hotel?
No,
or-
this year we stay at a hotel. Yeah, so I got my
Yeah.
own room, as you can tell. Got the
That's
suite
awesome.
going on and stuff. And nice. I got my PC set up here and everything, so it's definitely a little nicer. The dorms at the college weren't bad last year, but they were super hot. They didn't have like
Yeah,
AC or
that's what you're
anything, so-
telling me.
Yeah, that was kind of rough for sure, but they had fast internet, so I can't complain too much. I was able to play games.
It's a beautiful campus, though.
It was, yeah. UWGB is a nice place for sure. I want to go to the Badger in Madison, Wisconsin. I want to go to the University of Wisconsin's campus. I haven't been there yet.
Well, hit up
Yeah, I
Joey.
need to
He'll let you do whatever you want.
Yeah, I just want to go see it. Like I haven't even seen their field. I haven't seen their basketball
That's weird.
court, none of their buildings for like school and stuff. And I've heard it's a beautiful campus. I haven't even been to Madison, I don't think, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, it is nice. I've gone to two games.
For the
football.
for the Badgers, yeah.
Wow.
But yeah,
Is it pretty nice? Like pretty big, the
Mhm.
stadium? Yeah.
I
figured
don't know what
was,
the
yeah.
capacity is, but it's pretty nice.
Yeah,
I
Wisconsin
haven't been to
usually has a good
anywhere-
team.
Yeah, I haven't been to any other college team, so I can't compare. But
Yeah, I'm trying to think the college games I've been to. I've obviously played for Weber State. Weber State had like we didn't have the most massive stadium, but it was beautiful. We have like the mountain. So Paramount Plus, Paramount in general. So actually Paramount Mountain is in Ogden, Utah, and outside of our weight room, we can look into and see Paramount Mountain.
I
So,
did
yeah.
not know that.
Dude, it was crazy when they told me. I started looking at the mountain. I was like, it's the exact same mountain, bro. And so that's what they use for Paramount. And then, just Utah in general. We're like in a bowl of mountains. So over there, the campus was very pretty, but it wasn't like the biggest stadium. And then at Carroll, it was a very nice stadium too. Montana is very pretty, but all at the same time, it wasn't a dome giant stadium, like probably Wisconsin has, or
Well,
Texas,
Wisconsin's not a
whatever.
dome. It's
Outside.
open bowl. But
Yeah, I just mean you're right, not dome, but like circular, like
yes,
field,
yeah, all the way around. Yeah.
Packers used to play like
Coliseum
4
style.
games there, right?
Yes.
All right.
It might have been way, way long ago. I don't know. We've had the
Long time
Badgers
ago,
come to
yeah.
Lambeau a couple times, but I don't know if we've ever
Really?
played in Madison.
It was a long time
Yeah,
ago. That
I could
there
be
was-
wrong. It very well might be.
Why would they play
So-
games there though, Coach?
I have no idea.
They used to have, honestly, for fans to go there. And then you have all these fans now that had season tickets when they used to play. I'm pretty sure it was in Madison.
Don't ask me.
Or
No,
Milwaukee.
I'm not
No,
gonna
it was
know.
in Madison, but
1986 to 1999, they played 12 exhibition games at Camp Randall.
Dang.
so you have all
Didn't
these
know that.
guys now that have season tickets from that live over there, and they always sell their ticket. That's where we usually get our tickets for the Packer games when we go over there.
I
So,
see. That
mean,
makes sense. That makes sense.
All right, Coach Carter.
That's cool, though.
We
That's
got you
cool,
on.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, Coach Carter, we brought you on as a surprise guest and a surprise host, I should say. I'm kind of flipping the script here. So, a lot of times we have Joey or BJ. They're usually probably talking to you and, asking you stuff about what's going on. We're going to flip this around. So, Carter, Andrew, you get to ask any kind of question you want to BJ. Make him feel as uncomfortable as you want. You get to do whatever makes you feel, that's necessary. So, Andrew, I'm giving you the floor. You got any questions for BJ?
Let me think. I don't know if I have any questions that are going to make you uncomfortable, so you don't have to stress about that. But yeah, I guess the question I would ask, a big question is like, how hard is it to like the little things? Obviously, as football players, we don't see everything you do outside of seeing you at the game, seeing you around us or whatever, or maybe with Joey when you guys are doing interviews or whatever. But like, the question would be, how much effort does it take to get like the representation of the Blizzard out? So like, I know you have to probably reach out to people, not everyone's going to reach out to you about the Green Bay Blizzard. Not quite yet. Not until the arena game gets a little bigger, at least. We're still on the come up in the sense of that. But yeah, I would just say like, how hard is it to like reach out and find people who are willing to actually like learn about the Green Bay Blizzard or like do an interview about the Green Bay Blizzard or whatever, maybe a podcast or so on and so on. Because I know Coach Huddy, if I'm correct, Coach Huddy reached out to you, or did you reach out to Coach Huddy?
He reached out to me
Gotcha.
last week. Yeah, I don't really reach out to a lot. When I did my podcast, and we haven't talked about this much, I ran a podcast between 2023 and 2025 called the Blizzard Fancast. It was me and my buddy Taylor. It really started because the team kind of sucked. We had made 2 very questionable trades, and me and my buddy were done with it. We were kind of frustrated with the team and the organization as a whole. And we just sat down and recorded like an hour-long podcast of just us not bashing the team, but like voicing our concerns. I had a player reach out to me the following week. His name is Tyrell Thompson. I have his Sioux Falls helmet back here.
Nice.
And I have his jersey downstairs too, from when he was with Sioux Falls. But he reached out to me and was kind of like, hey, I just got off the team. I'm about to play for Sioux Falls. Do you want to interview me on your show? And it kind of just grew from there. So the people we had on, I had a couple players on. I had Skylar Perry, who's our backup in 2024 on. I had a couple of their fans on who are already established, but trying to get people who aren't familiar with the game, it is tough because there's a stigma with arena and indoor football for sure. It's not the same sport that it was back in the 90s when it was on ESPN on all the time. And it's hard to get people to watch, especially the buddies I've taken to games I took when we kind of sucked. And it's hard to get them to care now because they're like, oh, yeah, you guys still suck. And it's like, we just made a championship last year. We're 13-2. We're poised to make another championship. Like, it's hard to get people to care about the team, and it's hard to get people to care about the sport right now.
Yeah, no, I can see that for sure, especially like you said, like you bring someone to the game and it's like the team's not very good that you're rooting for. It might be like, oh, I'm never going to another arena game again. But one thing I'll say about that is like everyone who I've ever shown the arena game or like came to watch a game of mine, maybe like if we're playing in an area, like friend or whatever, friend or family, I guess. One thing they'll always say about the game is like it's very fast paced and it's very electric. So I do think that there is some fun in watching arena football. Like people who love to watch
100%.
hockey, right? They like to watch it because like the chance there could be a fight or like an electric moment. Like hockey itself is a slower sport. You don't see a lot of scoring, maybe a lot of defense, but like they're living for like when I went to a hockey game, I was hoping to see a fight. So you know what I'm saying? So with the NFL and going to the UFL this last year, the outdoor game is a bigger and it's a little slower. It's not as many people flying around. It's fun though. I love the outdoor game too. Don't get me wrong. But the arena game, I will say, is like even playing it, let alone watching it, it's like there's so much more going on. People are flying, hitting the wall, jumping over the wall, doing backflips. You know, the celebrations, like you can kind of get more engage in the celebrations and not get a penalty in the Arena League, whereas outdoor, I guess they've opened that up a little more now. But before it was like really strict, whereas like if you did anything, you know, they're throwing the flag, which I think is kind of what they're trying to get back to, oddly. But I say let the players be players and do whatever, as long as it's nothing like foul or, I don't know, demeaning in any way, like in the sense of like you're holding up guns and shooting at the crowd or something. Like, who cares what they do for real? They scored a touchdown. You know? But
yeah, I mean that makes the fan experience better. That's why
that's what I was
love.
saying about it. Yeah, exactly. The fans love seeing that. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, that's what made me fall in love with indoor. Is it's different. It's fast paced. You get to see you get to see players more. I'll mention you. I've had a decent connection with you the last 2 years, just because you came back. You were one of our like 4 or 5 guys this year who came back. We've had conversations, and I get to know these guys even before I did my show. Is I get to talk to these guys. I get to know them. You don't get to see that in NFL, CFL, UFL. You don't get to meet the players and have those, you know, personal connections with guys. I think that's the biggest thing with indoor is you go to a game, I can go up to our quarterback and have a conversation with him or a coach or anything like that. And they 9 times out of 10 are going to be super, super nice and will talk to you. And in some cases, we'll remember you the next time. Helps when you bring cookies. My family brings cookies, and I know most of the guys like that. So
they're good.
That's a good selling point. But
and it's not just the media. They do it with the fans. I mean, when we went to our game last year in Green Bay, we went to the place after the game, the bar and grill and everything, and I got to talk to Andrew's like with us, and we're talking to the coaches, we're talking to all the players, and it was just amazing.
Yeah.
That was a good day. Yeah.
That was
we
fun.
won that day too, I think, right?
What? That was like the
I was saying
Christmas
we won that
in
day,
July.
Yeah.
And so one thing about the IFL that I have enjoyed is we talked about the fast pace. The fan accessibility is insane. Like, and I think all the teams do this. They have the meet and greet right after the game. You see them get the table set up like that.
Yeah, most teams do.
That is, and so you get all of that, and it's not a 3-hour plus hour game because of the running clock and how the clock is managed. You still got they make a touchdown or whatever, the clock's still running. It's just a different thing. And then, you got morning, and because the field's so short, you could have 4 touchdowns in less than a minute happen. I mean, it is crazy.
I've seen that.
And, we talked about, the game of Tucson. That was a whole other thing. But I know that's probably an old wound to open up.
Sorry, Andrew.
Sorry, Andrew. Sorry, BJ. But it was a lot.
I'll win it this year. I won't care.
Yeah, it will. It will be so much. It's so much sweeter, getting it around the next time. But if it happens, but even when we were at the game, we sat in the end zone section, and there was probably 3 or 4 families from Green Bay around us, and all these families that made these trips from. I mean, this one guy, it was just a family friend of one of the players that drove like from Georgia, and he drove to Tucson. And I was thinking my trip was along, he made a road trip across country from Georgia to come watch the game, watch one of the players, just stuff like that. And, and like Nick said, going to the after party, I guess.
Andrew took me down on the field. That was the coolest thing, meeting all those guys. And
yeah. And it's just, that's the part of the game I think that they really need to capitalize on is the accessibility. And there are really good players. Obviously, Andrew can talk about it. BJ, you can probably talk a little bit, but there is some real talent in the IFL. There's a lot of good players there that just happenstance or whatever are not there yet. Or some of these guys have actually played, and now they're just trying to extend their career. They're coming and playing the IFL. So, it's not just some guys out of high school that they want to keep playing
like
football.
Scabs when
and so they go play. Then these guys are legit athletes that are doing this. Andrew could probably talk about this more, but they got their workouts, they got their training, they got, they gotta be professional, and there's certain things they got to do so they can continue their success. And, I think I'm hoping the IFL can capitalize on that part of it.
So can I ask a question to Andrew and BJ?
Sure. It's all you, man.
All right. So I want to bring my buddy Huddy to Green Bay. Okay. I've told him what it is like in Green Bay with the people from there. Would you elaborate on that and just how the people there are just flipping amazing? They're just
So maybe let's look at an outsider. So Andrew, you're obviously came from here, and then BJ, he can pick up on anything else. So Andrew, we'll let you go first. What is the community of Green Bay like?
Yeah, so I mean, we're from Idaho, obviously, originally. One thing I'll say about Idaho people is that Idaho people tend to be like respectful, hold doors open, very easy to conversate with. I mean, give or take where you are, right? Especially the area we're from, where it was more farm town and everything. So like being in football and going to so many states, you get to experience different cultures in all these states, and not every culture in these states is like that. But one thing that was reassuring to me when I came to Green Bay is I felt like it was a very similar experience in that where like people hold doors for each other. People are respectful to one another. It's easy to conversate with a lot of people up here. Yeah, a lot of small talk going on for sure. And then one thing I'll say about the people here for sure is they love football. Like Green Bay don't have a lot. Green Bay's like one of the smaller cities that have an NFL team only because of the history of the Packers, obviously, and everything. But that being said, like the people here in Green Bay, even though there isn't many of them, like you go to Atlanta, you know, you got millions of people. You go to Dallas, you got millions of people. Houston, millions of people. Jacksonville, so on and so on. Miami's. You know, there's a lot of people there. So, of course, there's going to be a lot of people that love football. But I would say, like, here, even though there isn't as many people in the area, there's still so many people who support football that you can't even tell that it's almost in a smaller city, though, unless you're living in it. And then you can kind of tell. Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with Wisconsin people whatsoever. I haven't had a problem with anyone up here as of the 2 years I've been up here and everything. And yeah, the people are just, they're nice and they're great. They really are.
I mean, they don't call it Midwest BJ, nice for nothing. I mean,
yeah.
But it's different, though. Green Bay's different than Minneapolis. I mean, Green Bay's awesome.
Yes, 100%. I mean, Green Bay and the whole area around there is 150,000 people, and it doesn't feel like it. It's really a small town. I live in Appleton. It's about half an hour south, and that's kind of the same thing, where it's 75,000 people. It's not everyone knows each other levels, but it's enough that it's like, you know, everyone's chill. We haven't had any major crime incidents or anything like that, but everyone's generally super nice. It's when you get south, like Milwaukee, it gets rough, but you know, Green Bay area is just fantastic. And like you mentioned, everyone loves the football, right? Everyone, Packers fans are known internationally, right? We've seen people in Germany show up in droves for our game that last year. I think it was Germany. So I love living in this area. I'm not planning on moving anytime soon, just because it's so nice living here, and the people are great, and I got a team behind me that has been around for so long, and we have a good fan base, and yeah.
So one thing I'll say about that too, about the Blizzard fan base in general, is like the Blizzard's fan base is one of a kind. I mean, I was down in Tucson for my first year, and I love the Tucson fan base too. I built a lot of good relationships with those guys down there too. But both the teams I've gotten to be a part of have great fan bases. But I will say, like, Green Bay's fan base here, it's definitely electric. I mean, we're very good at home, and there's a reason we're very good at home. Is because, like, you know, I may not know every one of the fans there, but it's like I'm playing for the people of Green Bay. So when you play in Green Bay, it's almost like you play a chip on your shoulder because you're not trying to lose for all these people who are like, they genuinely care about your success. They genuinely care about how well the team does. They genuinely care about who you are as a person, you know, and they know you as a person too. So they expect things from you. Like, I know most of the fans expect me to go out there and just be crazy and, you know, try to score touchdowns every drive. So it's like, I ain't trying to like build a misconception here. I'm trying to show them like, that's who I was. The first day you met me is the same person I am today, you know?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And that's the one thing that Nick has explained to me and you guys have talked about is the people in the area. Just, if you're a small talk type of person, you're going to love Green Bay. And for me, I'm into that. I'm like, I'm all about the small talk and stuff like that. My wife, on the other hand, she's just like, no, that's not me. But she understands me. So, I mean, you know, if I ever get to make a trip up there to Green Bay, it's going to be, you know, that part of it I'm kind of looking forward to. You know, in the history of the area.
It'll be fun to see you too.
Yeah, you know, the history of the area.
Make it up to us for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully I get to make it up there sometime. You know, I'm not a Green Bay fan, but I respect the tradition and because I love football. And Green Bay is football. I mean, they got
Since
so
1919.
much, they got so much history there, and just to go there and see that, to go check out Lambeau and stuff like that would be really cool, just because of that. And the people of the town, good for Green Bay to be able to be like that. And Nick's not the only one that's talked about this. One of my other co-hosts is a huge Packers fan. He's been up there a couple of times, Tanner. And Tanner's told me to show up wearing Seahawks gear.
They'll treat you well, though.
No, that's the thing. And then he said, and I go, really? He goes, no, seriously, show up in Seahawks gear. They'll come and talk to you. He says, oh, where are you from? And then you have that conversation. It's like, why'd you become a Seahawks fan? So, that conversation. And then he concluded at the end of that, find the nearest trash can and throw my gear in this. so I was just like, and that is not happening. But you don't get that. There's people that can be a little hostile in other towns just because the gear you're wearing, and that's
yes.
And I'm never
I've
okay
gotten
with
that
that.
IFL.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
I would say Quad City, huh, BJ? Quad City. Yeah, they hate us.
I've been cussed out many a time in Quad City.
So
Fishers in Iowa are pretty fine, but Quad Cities is rough.
It's rough for sure. I mean, that's a rivalry though, so that's gonna always be some. It's not even bad blood at that point. It's just like people get drunk and then they just start popping off for real. So.
And I've noticed that on the social media aspect, and this is nothing. And I look at teams as a whole, and I think at teams as a whole, wherever your team is, I think everybody has good intentions and they love their team, and I love that passion. And it's funny, especially with Andrew. I remember a specific person who was constantly, he'd post on there all the time, and Andrew probably gets this, he's holding. That was the thing. That is always been the thing. It's like
they hold signs up in Quad Cities saying 78 is holding.
78 is holding. And I saw it too. And I just laugh because I'm like, dude, if you know football, you know what holding in and what's not and everything else. And I never respond back to the people because I don't ever want to get in kind of a pissing match or anything with anybody that I don't know. But when I see the Quad City fans, and they were, if I was a team this year that I thought was the biggest disappointment, it was Quad City, because I really thought, because last year they got Andrew can talk about this, about their defensive line. Their nose guard is a 41. He's a solid dude. He's probably one of
he's
guys.
very good at football.
So I really thought, it seems like Quad City had a lot of their at least key pieces back, I thought. And I know the way the IFL works, you don't necessarily get to keep everybody because it's just kind of the structure of it. So, it's Quad City, just the fan base, but I love it. And I have a lot more respect for Green Bay and the fact of how, not just with the Blizzard, but with the Packers and stuff like that.
Wait till you go there.
They, hopefully that happens sometime soon. So, we'll have to work on that. But
what I will say about the whole thing is it's definitely kind of crazy. So, like, you remember the Knicks obviously won the NBA finals this year, and then you've seen people who are wearing Spurs outfits like getting jumped and stuff. So you can definitely see that in some fan bases that, like, just even in the World Cup, for example, like there's people who will literally die over soccer, right? Like, if you don't support this team and you're wearing this jersey and you're in that area, like, don't go outside because they'll kill you. Which, I guess, I don't know how deep the roots run, but I think obviously that's applicable or okay in any way, shape, or form. But what I will say about people in Green Bay, it's like you could show up in anything, like you said, like they'll talk to you. And I haven't really met anyone who, someone might get drunk
in a Cowboys
off.
jersey.
It's human nature thing. Yeah, you can wear. Yeah, exactly. You can really wear whatever you want. I've never seen anyone like really get into like a crazy argument or a fight or someone dying over like supporting other sports teams. It's more just like you said, like, oh, where are you from? Why do you like them? Type of conversations. And the other thing I would say about like Quad City, they still have a very efficient and good D line. I would say like some of the best guys in the league definitely still play for Quad. All those guys can play. They play well as a unit together. It's just winning in the arena game. You can have great players and still just fall short in this game. Like you could be better than a team in every way, and they just show up in the arena that day and they're scoring and they're on point, and you happen to like have a fumble or maybe like some receiver happens to bobble out their hands and get a pick, and then they just score every drive and you lose the game. So I think Quad is still a very good team. I am never going to hate on Quad City. In fact, like out of all the teams in the league, I respect them all. Even the teams at the lowest of the bracket, they're still an opponent. Still got to take them seriously. But like Quad City is a team that like I don't enjoy playing because that game is just physical. It's rough. I mean, I enjoy playing it because I love football. But if I was going to look at it logistically, like Quad is an opponent that matches up well against us. So Quad is still a very great team. Their record obviously doesn't show that necessarily, but I would never sit here and say like Quad City is a bad football team just because they got players on that team. And if those players show up to play, you're going to have to battle, scrap to get it the win.
Yeah.
I mean, that's our only 2 losses this year are against them in Illinois. But
I didn't play in those games.
Do you know what?
I do contribute a lot of that to
I
that.
brought that up. And I did in some social media, and I don't know if it was on one of the Blizzard's sites or something. I did mention that and I know it's never about just one player, because it takes your whole team. And I know that, but the common factor, the denominator in this was Andrew didn't play, and so I was kind of like, well, Andrew didn't play in those 2 losses, and I'm not trying to stroke your ego, Andrew, or anything like that, but it's amazing though that I really don't think people understand the cohesiveness that has to happen on offensive line for things to be well. And so when something happens where they're injured or they're out or whatever like that, or they move on, if they are a key piece of that, especially what I call the brains of the operation, you lose that. I think sometimes the common fan doesn't understand how that can affect all the other 7 guys on the field or 11, wherever you're at.
Most of it. And what I will say about that too is like, it's even deeper than just like offensive line play. Like I said, offensive line play is very crucial. Like the goal of an offensive line, at least in this game, I mean, obviously if you're an 11-man, it's to find 5 guys who play really well together. It doesn't even have to be the 5 most talented guys. It's 5 guys who play really well together, who communicate well together, who aren't afraid to play for each other, who obviously like the first thing is they can't be soft. So you need to find 5 guys who aren't soft and then fill everything in from there. But in the IFL, it's the same thing. You want to find 3 guys who play really well together, who aren't soft and who can communicate well and to have an efficient online. But I would say it's even deeper than that because it goes into like a whole like Coach Roberson is very big on like connectivity within the team. And last year I was very connected to the whole team. Like if I see any of those guys in public, I'm going to go up and talk to them right away. Like those are my boys, right? But one thing I'll say about this team is like we're so connected. We know so much about each other. We do everything together. We joke together. We mess like whatever. We do everything together for real. And I think what it is losing a guy that fits well in this team environment, such as myself, because all these guys are my boys. It's like it throws off the vibe of the team a little bit. And obviously the first Quad City game was like the first game that I had obviously missed my first game ever in my career. So the boys were going in there. We're still a fresh team. That win is more just like, early in the season. But then I leave to the UFL and we go and play quad again. It's like we lose. And it's like the only thing that could be is like the boys aren't playing as confident because they still had a talented O-line. Every one of our O-linemen here, I guarantee you can play on any one of these teams. They're a very talented group. We have a very talented backfield receivers, very talented D-line. So it's like, all the talent was still there, even with me being gone. I'm not saying I'm even better than any of our other 4 linemen. It's just the fact is like when I'm out there, I feel like the team plays more confident because having another person who they know is giving their all every play makes it easier for someone to give their all every play. And I talked to our starting linebacker at the start of the year, Juju, about that before he had decided that he'd gotten hurt and that football was just out of the cards for him this year or whatever. But I talked to him about that. I was like, you don't deserve the tired Drew. You don't deserve the Drew whose ankle hurts. You don't deserve the Drew who's only playing 90%. Like every play you deserve me giving 120%, no matter how I feel that play. So, and my 120% is only me at 80% going, not like in full capacity, right? So if I'm not in full capacity, I'm still going to give 120%, but it may only be 80% of what I'm able to do with giving 120% at full capacity, but you're still going to get the 120% of me every play. And I think having the team be able to see that makes it easier for guys to want to make plays because they see someone out there who is like trying to win for them, which makes the next guy try to win for that person. Then it makes the next guy try to win for that person. Then it just like kind of is like a snowball effect throughout the whole team. And one thing I'll say about our team too is every game I've been able to play in or at least be around and a part of is we're a very poised team. We could be down. There's a couple of games we're obviously down going to have or maybe some unfortunate scenario, but it's like we're very poised and we're very confident like we're just going to make the play. Offense, keep going out there and scoring, doing your thing. Somehow we're going to turn this thing around. And I think that is the biggest aspect when a good player leads a team. It's it goes deeper than just that player's playing ability. It goes into like their leadership qualities as well and what they brought to the team environment as well. And I think that's the big reason for the 2 Quad City losses, because Quad's a good team. They're going to play us tough. I just think like the boys maybe went out there and just didn't play as confident as they would have had they known like, oh, this guy's out here trying to kill shit from me. You know what I'm saying?
So BJ, let's get your perspective on this. So you I mean, obviously you go to every game, you're part of it, whether it's on the road or at home. Out of all the games you've seen, can you talk about what you've seen from this year's team versus last year's team, and maybe things that are similar versus what might be a little bit different? I mean, I have my own little take on it from what I've seen, but I kind of want to get your thoughts and your perspective on what you're seeing with this team.
I've mentioned this before on Cold Front, so Andrew might have heard this before, but it's been the next man up mentality this year. It didn't need as much last year. It didn't feel like we needed next man up as much last year. This year, it's felt like that, right? Andrew was hurt and went up to the UFL. We've had multiple running back injuries. Kyrie's come in, has taken the field, but Kyrie didn't play a couple weeks ago against Iowa, and Demylan came in and had 2 touchdowns and looked almost as good. Yeah. So it's really been that whoever's on the field is putting in their all. We switched linebackers, brought in Andre White back, and he's stepped in and been phenomenal. But it's really just been whoever is on the field is playing at their best level. And I've definitely seen that shift this year compared to previous years. Maybe not as much last year, but like I've been following this team since 2011. You can tell when guys are they're not trying as hard. And you're never going to call them out or anything like that, but you can tell when guys are just playing just to play versus playing to win and playing for the love of it. And I think this team this year has been showing a lot of that. One other thing I want to mention. So the most recent episode of Fight for the 50 came out and they recapped the championship game. They had cameras in the locker room. The energy in there didn't seem super high for both clips of the pregame and the halftime. I don't know if Andrew can talk about that or wants to fill in, but you see the Vegas side of it, and Vegas was hyped up. They were ready to go as soon as they walked in the building. And I know some of it's like
it's clipped in
perspective,
edited,
right?
Yeah.
They're going to follow.
Right.
Yeah, they're going to clip in. They're going to establish Vegas because Vegas won the whole thing. And I could go on another half an hour rant about how the last 3 episodes have been super Vegas heavy, almost to a fault. But seeing that shift, and I think this year our guys all seem hype. Like they are in this, they are in it to win, and they want it bad this year. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what I'll say about the whole Vegas thing, I mean, you got to think of the different team environments, right? Coach Robe doesn't build the team environment where we're all hoorah, rah. I mean, we are in a way, but it's very like we're in the locker room, like looking at our boys and being like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to play like as hard as I can for you. Whereas like some teams, like they get their energy from that hoorah, rah, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that nothing against any of the Vegas guys, because I mean, at the end of the day, you just got to be congratulations to them. We lost the game. You won the game. You got a ring. Cool. I did it. Right. But at the same time, like there's no way they walked away from that game and thought that like we couldn't have won. It would have been a 5 out of 5 battle if we played 10 times. And maybe it would have weighed to one person's side, but every game would have been to the wire close. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But what I will say is with the Vegas guys is like they definitely had that group of guys who I think needed that type of energy to do what they did. And whereas like our group of guys were just like, we're just going to show up and play. Right. We had a bunch of guys who had been doing it for a while. We had a vet quarterback, a rookie running back who had played most of the season, ended up getting very comfortable back there. You had me, who I was a second-year vet. Jake Parks was a second-year vet. I mean, he played overseas, so it was his first year in the indoor league, but second-year pro. Torrey Boyd, who was another offensive lineman. That was our 3 guys. Torrey's like 33. He's been playing for a long time. I think he had some experience in the NFL too. So we had a lot of guys who were just ready to show up and play. And even though they want to obviously portray Vegas as the team who showed up to win the thing, they did not leave that arena thinking that like they were any better than us. And if they did, like I said, we played 10 times where it's going to be a 5-5 is what I'll give them. But I even think that we might have even outweighed them a little bit. Like we had a very efficient team. We just didn't need that. We had that energy too. The crazy thing is like, you may not see us hoorah-rahing, but I promise you everyone was in that arena that day for the Green Bay Blizzard, ready to win that game. Some guys were focused on some other things that I didn't like before the game. Like, if you know what I'm insinuating, you know what I'm insinuating. We're in a new place, football guys, put 2 and 2 together. But at the same time, I can't say anyone didn't show up like with the will to want to win. But this year, like BJ say, I think it's a little different because it's like we're all so close to each other that we just like, I expect greatness from my quarterback. I expect greatness from my receiver. I expect greatness from my linebacker. I expect greatness from my D lineman, just like they expect greatness from me and my O lineman, right? Like they expect us to go out there and pass pro and let Liam throw the ball. Like I expect them to go get a sack. I expect them to go get a pick. So I think that's the different thing is like this team is accountable, and a lot of guys don't take it for granted in the sense of like they're not sidetracked with a lot of the BS. I mean, obviously, long season, there's going to be something, you know, but for the most part, I think most guys are like, we're showing up to practice, we're intentional with how we're practicing. You know, I'm losing reps during the week during practice, which is helping me for the games because I'm like, oh, I'm not going to lose on that thing, or like I'm winning reps, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that in the game because it worked. I'm a sweat hand, whatever. So we're very intentional with how we practice, and I think that's why you see such a difference with this team is because all year we've been just trying to improve. Like everyone knows that like the only goal is the next step. So instead of like worrying about where we were last week, worrying about where we were 10 seconds ago, even worrying about where we're going to be in the future, it's more just like intentionality with that one rep that you get at that moment, because that's what's going to help you get to where you need to be, which is the next step, which would be the UFL, CFL, or the NFL.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
I like that.
My take, you know, being at the game last year, I will live by this 9 out of the 10 times on the quarterback sneak, you know, butt sniffer, where you went, you guys were successful on that. It was the one time it didn't work. And I mean, 5 out of 5. Yeah. You know, the other side of that was looking at the last year and this year is the improvement, I think, on the defensive side. And I know that, you know, that's coach's deal, man. That's his baby, is that defense. And that was the one thing that I think was kind of different this year than last year is I think the defensive line play is doing so much better. I think the back end, there has been a lot less blown coverages. And I'm a defensive minded guy. So, and I already talked to Andrew about this, that for me with the game, the rules that have to be in play, and I understand why they have them there. Like your linebacker has to be so far back. And I know they've loosened some things up on twist and blitz packages and stuff like that, and things you can do. But there's obviously some restrictions on defense because, you know, it's let's face it, it's offense. But I do notice that some of the stuff from this year, what my concern was the pieces that you lost. And I know during the preseason or before the season started, Miss Kathy listened to the podcast that they have on Blizness. I know her feelings about kind of what happened with some of the players and what happened wasn't necessarily happy. And I know the business side of it and some of the things that kind of go on the shady side, I know some of that stuff happens. But what I'm impressed with is the coaching staff going out, finding those dudes to replace, you know, replacing Max with Thompson. You know, I mean, that was a big piece because that was, to me, that was a big piece that went gone, because when Max ended up going to Arizona, I was like, holy crap, dude, what's going to happen? So there was a lot of unknowns, and with Bay City going dormant or whatever they call it, you know, and what you guys picked up, what, four or five players from there? And to me, that's
more than that. It was like 7 or 8.
Or was it 7 or 8? Yeah. So they brought in a lot of guys from there that kind of helped reestablish that defensive side. You got a guy who played backup quarterback, but he's been solid. So I think credit to the coaching staff and the system to be able to take these guys, and it's like business as usual. And you guys are back doing what you did last year. And the approach that the coaching staff has and how you guys are approaching things, I just think it's, like you said, next man up. I also think that there is the approach of it's the next play, and that mentality, all that mental training that goes on, that separates the winners from you losers. The reason why you were winning those close games is the next play. And, you know, Robertson's kind of talked about that, you know, post game, you know, the accessibility. We talked about that too, about the accessibility of the IFL, but it's always the next play. And I'm pretty sure, Andrew, you could talk about that. BJ, you could probably talk about it too, from what you're seeing, is that, man, something happens a little negative. It's like, it doesn't matter. We're ready to go next play, short-term memory loss or whatever it takes to get ready. So that's one thing that I'm seeing. Gonzo, is there anything that you're seeing that?
I think you're exactly right.
Yeah. Okay, BJ, you ready to go on a little bit more? A few more questions on you, and then we're going to move on to our next segment. So,
Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, real quick. There was a joke. There was a running joke the start of the year that we were the Green Bay Panthers and the Arizona Rattlers were the Arizona Blizzard because they took our guys and we took all the Panthers guys. So I actually think we got more than 8 guys from Bay Area. We have no, it might be around 8, but there's a lot. Like it was pretty much like they brought the whole Bay Area team, brought back a couple of Green Bay guys, and then we obviously had our rookies, which we still have some rookies playing now. But for the most part, most of our team is like guys who have been playing in the league for a little bit or played somewhere. So yeah, they definitely brought a lot of those Bay Area guys over here, which I'm glad they did. They're all very efficient players. They're very good.
And that's one thing I'll say difference-wise between this team versus when I first started becoming a fan. So 2013 through 2019, we stunk, right? We hadn't made playoffs in 7 years. We didn't win a playoff game for almost a decade. And it was always that we had probably 20, 22 rookies every year. And it felt like you couldn't get attached to anybody because they weren't going to be there the next year. They might not even be there the following week. So it was a constant rotation. And then these last couple of years where we started making playoffs, we've had guys who've been playing. And I've always said the biggest thing you can have at the start of a season are guys who've already played indoor football. Even if it's only a couple games, that's already better than a rookie because they know the speed of the game. They know the tempo. And having a team that, like Andrew said, is mostly 2, 3, 4-year guys is the biggest stepping stone to start the season with because you already have guys who know what they're doing. And yeah, it was great when I saw that we brought in so many Bay Area guys because it's like these are guys who have proven they can play. And we have a coaching staff who's just took us to a championship. Let's smash the two together and let's go win it this year.
Yeah, and I mean, Coach Rob does a very great job at recruiting as well, like insanely good. I even tell him every day, I don't know how you manage to get these 5-0 linemen here when some of these teams can't even get one. And you manage to get 5 guys who can play. You manage to get a whole D-line of 5 guys who can play. You got brought like receivers in who can all play. Quarterback has obviously played, has been very good. They found Kyrie, snipped him out of the bottom, which is crazy. I didn't even know this until the other day, but that man Kyrie finished a whole preseason camp with the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
He played all the preseason games and actually I think scored in one of the games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yeah, to find these guys, Coach Rob does a very good job. I know he probably has help in the process of recruiting as well. Guys are probably reaching out to him too, especially because we're, a very good, efficient indoor team they're trying to play. But I think Coach Rob does a good job at recruiting because even coming back, I mean, I wasn't sure. It was Sean Mustin had signed, and then I think Alan Henry signed, then I signed back, and then we had gotten Rod. Rod might have signed first before me, but besides that, I wasn't really sure about any of the other guys, coming in. I was just more like, I'm just going to go there and, work as hard as I can, try to lead the team to victories, whatever. But then they end up getting here and realize like he had just as talented of a group as we had last year, and I thought our last year group was damn near unbeatable. Mm-hmm. At least on offense. The offensive side was absolutely good last year. So I thought we couldn't have gotten better. But even this year, I feel like he managed to find the right guys and put them in the right places, and our offense is rolling. So,
and that was another thing. Previous seasons, we had just terrible offense. It had to be our defense needs to get 5 stops if we want to win a game. Now it's like if our defense gets 1, maybe 2 stops, we're winning this game because I know our guys are going to go out and score nearly every drive. That's been the biggest shift recently is I can trust our offense. If we're last with the ball, I know we can go and score. Obviously the championship was different and I could talk for an hour about the championship game, but our offense can score. And that's been a lot of relief because I was very negative about the team going into 2024. And I feel like an idiot now because it's like, oh, we won a playoff game. We won we made a championship. Like if you had told me that in 2023, my tune would have been way different. So it's been great to see this team grow over the last 3 years and become an actual contender. It's hard to shift that mindset. I'm so used to a decade of mediocrity that seeing our guys actually play really well is amazing to me personally.
All right, BJ. So we're going to do a little bit of rapid question for you. All right. And then we'll move on to our next segment. Favorite sporting event you've ever attended?
Okay, so it'd definitely be a Blizzard game. I have a couple really good ones. Probably the Eastern Conference Championship last year is definitely very high up there. Obviously, that was one I was in tears at the end of the game because just the fact that we had made it that far. And then Rafiq Abdul Wahid at the end of the game handed me the trophy before the bus, and that I almost like bawled again when he handed that to me because I was so surreal that I got to that point. But we've had a lot of really great games. I know in 2021, when we first beat Sioux Falls for the first time, we were like 0-20 something against them. For us to beat them in a game that meant absolutely nothing for us and absolutely nothing for them, but we won anyways. The back-to-back 2019 Cedar Rapids games come to mind because my dad and I went to our first road game in Cedar Rapids. We had a really good game. We won that. And then the following week, we shut them out. We had a group of college guys behind us that were hooting and hollering the whole game with us. And those are probably my top 4 games because they were great wins. We had a great crowd, and it's gotten better and better recently. So, yeah. Sorry for rapid fire. That was kind of a long
you're fine. So,
but
favorite stadium or arena you've been to?
Lambeau's nice. Fisher's is really nice. Those are probably my top 2. Resch is right below Fisher's, but Fisher's brand new, spanking. Their pretzels are phenomenal. If you've ever had one of those pretzels are so good. I have to say Lambeau because Packers, but yeah, those are probably my top 3. I don't go a whole lot of places, so.
All right. This next one, no pressure. You don't have to say Andrew, but who's the favorite athlete you've ever interviewed or worked with?
Interviewed or worked with? I haven't really interviewed Andrew. I don't think I've ever done. We just know each other. We just know each other in passing and talking conversations. Interview, I probably have to go with Tyrell Thompson. He was kind of the one who made our channel kind of blow up. He was super supportive. I ended up getting to see him play in Sioux Falls. I ended up buying his helmet and jersey on auction off their website. And then I got to go see him play for the Pueblo Punishers this year, along with Keyshawn Taylor, who was another former one of our players in Sioux City. So that was, I love him. He's been great. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Favorite sports movie?
Ooh. I don't know if I have one that I could think of off the top of my head. I've seen a lot of good sports movies.
All right. Pick 2 or 3. You can, because that's a hard question.
Dodgeball's good. I like Dodgeball.
Yeah.
It's a random one, but Dodgeball. I said, Remember the Titans? Is that the other one? That's really, really good. I remember seeing that a couple of years ago. That was really powerful. I think those are probably my top 2.
Okay. You got a favorite sports documentary? Going from movies to documentaries, is there a documentary that?
I don't really think I've watched any documentaries on sports, I'll be honest.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't think I have one.
That's fine.
The Michael Jordan documentary is good.
Is it?
Yes, I have that on my Plex server. My dad has been meaning to watch that with me. I'll have to check that one out.
Favorite broadcaster?
Okay.
Don't have to...
I'm so bad with voices and names. You could put like the same guy in front of me for years. I could not tell you their name. I will say Joey just for the fact that I have to. Joey and Ralph Judkins, those are my 2 indoor guys.
Okay.
I'll go with them.
That's fine. No, I was kind of wondering. I was like, you don't have to, if Joey doesn't watch this, you're probably all right now. But dream event to cover. What would be your dream event to cover if you had the opportunity of covering one event?
I work with indoor so much. I would love to actually do media for the championship this year. I tried last year. They said I wasn't high enough. We'll see this year. Now that I'm technically working for the team, I'm hoping I'm able to actually do media.
That'd be nice. One sport event still on your bucket list, something that you'd like to go see, some sporting event.
Ooh, I'd love to go to an actual Packer playoff game. It probably won't happen. Yeah, I think that'd be one. I'd like to go see a Packer playoff game where we actually win because I think that'd be really cool.
If you could trade jobs with anyone in sports media for one day, who would it be with?
Jeepers. You're just giving me the questions I can't think of. So I did broadcast for a quarter last year. I'm not a big broadcaster. I've done it before a couple times.
I remember that. I remember actually seeing you
do it. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the Christmas and July game.
Yeah, it was actually.
I did the second quarter.
You did a whole quarter of it. Yeah. You did a good job.
Yep. And I don't think I did fine. Good job.
You did.
I did a radio broadcast for San Antonio, and that was good. But
I mean, the way I look at it, because I've done the part before and stuff like that, and with high school and college back in Oregon, I did some of that. But and you can be your worst critic, but I will say, being somebody who got their opportunity, I think you did a good job doing it. So,
well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So, coffee and energy drinks on game day. You have one that
none. I don't drink any. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink energy drinks. The best I do, Baja Blast. I drink Mountain Dew, but that's about it. I don't do coffee and energy drinks for the most part.
All right. One word to describe working in sports.
Fun. I just have fun doing it. No matter what I'm doing, if it's stats or watching a game, I lock in and have fun doing it.
All right. Okay, guys, we're going to play a game. All three of us, or all three of you guys are going to be part of this game. I'm answering the questions. So one of the things I'm seeing lately is with college football getting ready to start up, you guys have probably seen the Key and Peele skit about the outrageous names that come out. You guys have seen these, So we are going to look at real life versions of names that are on the 26 rosters of some college football teams. So the game is, you're going to tell me whether it's real or if it's made up. So I got 10 names here, and some of them are real, some of them are made up. And then I'll get each of you. We'll start with Coach Gonzo. Then we'll go to BJ. Then we'll go to Andrew, and you guys just tell me if it's real or made up. All right. Okay, you can't see my screen, right? The guys are making sure that Gonzo can't see my screen. All right. First player, Turbo Justice. Made up or real?
Made up.
Okay. Gonzo says made up.
That
BJ?
one's real.
You think that one's real?
That's real.
Andrew?
I think it's made up.
It is made up. It is a made up name. Yep. Sounds real. Yeah.
Dang it. I know there is a turbo. I remember
Okay.
seeing a turbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
Okay.
no, it's not that one. All right. It does sound like it, but yeah, it sounds like it could be a superhero too. All right. Second one. Darylis Clark. DA'REALYST.
Real.
Darylis Clark.
Real.
Real. BJ?
I want to say fake because I think you screwed up the last name. I thought it was DeRealist Crawford. I know DeRealist is real, but I don't think the last name's right.
Oof.
But
I think it's real.
it is real. Yeah. Wide receiver for Kent State.
I'm getting them wrong for the wrong reason. Or getting them. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So they have him down
I
as
just can't
wide
remember
receiver
names.
returns. Yeah, that's fine. Number 3, King Large. King Large. Gonzo.
Made up.
BJ.
I'm going made up.
Made up.
Real. He's an offensive lineman, plays for SMU. And it fits because he's over
That's like
300 pounds.
crazy offensive lineman.
Yeah, that's an awesome line name.
That's an awesome offensive line name. All right, number 4, Buck Cannon. Buck Cannon.
Made up.
Made up. BJ?
Yeah, I'm going made up too.
Okay. Andrew?
This honestly doesn't sound as bad. I'm going to say real.
It's actually made up. Made up name. Yep. Yeah, it sounds like it could be a fictional, some high school team in,
Yeah,
out in the middle of
that's high
the
school
desert,
musical
Texas or something.
kind of player.
So, yeah, or High School Musical. Yep. All right. Number 5, Blazin Lono Wong.
Real.
So Blazin, middle name Lono, and then last name Wong. Blazin Lono Wong.
Real.
Real.
I'm going to go made up.
Okay.
Made up.
Real. He plays defensive line for Arizona State.
Arizona.
Yep. Okay. Number 6, Mobility. MOH is his first name, and then Bility. BILITY. Mobility.
Real.
Real.
Yes. Yep. Real person. Yep. Defensive back. Looks like he's from Rice. Okay. Number 7, Rocket McThunder.
Made up.
BJ.
Made up.
Andrew.
Oh, Coach Gonzo made up.
Gonzo's been pretty good. He's pretty spot on. Yeah, it is made up. Yep. Yep. All right. Number 8, Nitro Tuggle. Nitro Tuggle.
Real.
Real. BJ.
Real.
Yep. Wide receiver, Georgia, transferring to Purdue.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's no longer Georgia, is he?
Yeah. No. Thank you, went to Purdue. All right. Number 9, Stone Fortress. Stone Fortress.
Made up.
Made up.
I've never heard that one.
BJ.
I haven't heard that one. I'm going to go made up.
That'd be a cool name, but I think made up.
It is made up. Yep. Yeah. It sounds like it. They wish it like it should be. Yeah. It could be a really cool. Yeah. Yeah. Stonewall, maybe an offensive lineman. All right. Number 10, last one, Cash Victory. Cash Victory.
Real.
Real. BJ.
I'm going to fake made up.
Fake.
I'm going real.
Okay.
Coach Gonzo.
Andrew?
I'm just trusting.
Okay.
Real.
It is made up. Yeah. It is made up. So yeah. Yeah. So, hey, that was fun. I have to do that again sometime. So that was our game. Is it made up or real? So last segment that we do is we always talk about a mascot of the week. I'll choose high school, high school. Sometimes minor league teams, baseball teams, sometimes hockey. They got these really crazy names. So this week we are going to Mount Clemens Michigan. And the history of this town that led to the name that it's called is that it is unique because of the history behind America's premier spa destinations at one time. So Mount Clemens is located about 25 miles northeast of Detroit, serves on the Macomb County, city developed along the Clinton River and became nationally famous in the late 1800s and early 1900s as a natural occurring mineral spring. Current population is about 15,000. The nickname comes out of this area where people would come and soak in the rich waters for therapeutic reasonings. The famous guests that came to some of these hotels, there was tons of hotels 20 major hotels that built bathhouses in this area. You had people like Babe Ruth, Jack Dempsey, Clark Gable, members of the Vanderbilt family that came to this area. So the mascot of the week is the Battling Bathers. Battling Bathers. So they became the Bathers in 1924 is when the school opened up. And later on, they added the word battling to make them seem more fierce, I guess. So the school size, it is about 250 students right now in there. At its peak, when the school opened up, there was about 815 students. So you can tell how the economy kind of went away. The population did. Most of the economy, healthcare, county, government offices, small businesses, manufacturing jobs in the surrounding Detroit area. So it's more of a bedroom community. Cost of living is affordable. Cost of living is below the national average. So yeah, the Battling Bathers of Mount Clemens. That is our mascot of the week.
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Yeah, I need to
Battling
like see the logo or
Bathers.
something, right?
Battling Bathers. Yep. It looks like this guy.
Like Bathers, like Baiters.
That is the logo.
Bathers. Yeah. Their logo is like a guy holding his
BGRS.
fists like he's ready to fight, like the old 20s, 30s boxing. So
It's kind of cool though. It's not
it
bad
is.
actually.
It's unique. Yeah.
Could be the Senators.
Yeah, we're the Senators. Yep. So
That's what I was thinking. It almost looks like our high school logo, dang near.
a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So
Bathers
BJ.
were also a minor league baseball team in the 1910.
Really? Same area, I'm assuming?
Yeah, same city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same city. There you go. So that's your mascot of the week. All right, BJ, I'm going to give you the last thoughts here. Let's talk about your podcast real quick. Where can listeners follow your work and the name of it and everything like that? Any projects or events you're working on, anything like that? The floor is yours.
So yeah, I do the Blizzard Cold Front podcast. It's on the Green Bay Blizzard YouTube channel, Thursdays at 6 p.m. Central. There'll be an episode out tomorrow. Joe and I kind of just talk through playoff scenarios for this upcoming week. Other than that, I run a website called the Indoor Football Index, trying to recap all the history of the entire sport as a whole, indoor and arena. It's kind of something I'm working on the last couple of years. It's not fully developed, but it's getting there. And I have a couple projects in the works with off the wall football. We're hoping to work with the leagues a little bit more this offseason. And I can't say anything too much yet, but we've got some stuff in the works. So I'm hoping next year's a big year.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Well, I'd like to thank co-hosts, Coach Gonzo, like Coach Carter, for joining us. BJ, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate you taking your time and coming and being on. That's it for our episode. Banana Ball's coming up. So Coach Gonzo and I are going to watch the Bananas play here in Boise next week. Like a week from this weekend. We had
they're in Boise, huh? That's nice.
Yeah, so it's going to be the party animals against the tailgaters. So yeah, they get to come. The Colson Loveland golf scramble that they had, winners that I donated 2 tickets to that. We have our winners. They get to join me and the coach's wife on Saturday's game. So should be a lot of fun. Got our seats finally. So we're going to be sitting out there in left field, I think. So it'll be interesting. Should be a lot of fun. Can't wait. So thanks everybody for joining.